Board meeting to order. I'd like to thank my Vice President, Hannah Mason, for running the budget meeting. Really appreciate it, Hannah. We're going to start off with the pledge and then a moment of silence. If everyone please stand. Mr. DeZarmo, would you lead us in the pledge? One point three is normally the superintendent's opening comments. He will bypass that this evening. We'll go straight to our information items. We have some really good things happening tonight. 2.1, recognition of Black History poster winners. 2.2 is recognition of ACT top achievers. 2.3 is Martel Billo Elementary recognition for winning the School Garden Initiative on Cuisine de Jardin cook-off team. Miss LeBou, congratulations. I still have more trophies than you. 2.4, recognition of anti-litter poster contest winners. We're going to turn it over to Miss Gardner, and she will take care of all this. All board members, please go to the front.
Good evening. This evening, we're going to do a lot of celebrations and all about the experiences we offer. Board members, we're going to ask you to please step down. And students, when you join in, we will get you to come in and take pictures as we call your name.
During Black History Month, our schools celebrated the contributions and history of African Americans through a variety of events and programs. Students honored both the struggles and triumphs that have shaped the African American experience. Our winners from the elementary who competed in a poster contest are Zoe Broussard, Jay Wallace James, come on up, Miss Zoe, Olivia Saunier, Karen Crow Bob Lilly, Macy Bernard, Catherine Drexel, Caden Johnson, Ridge Elementary, Emery Fontanet, Dusson, Everett Blossomame, Green Tea Linden, and Kobe Bradford, Marshall B.O. Wait right there, Miss Zoe. Wait.
We're doing 3 sets.
Our second group of winners from elementary are Zoe Handy, Charles Burke, Grace Campbell, Prairie Elementary, Dara Rosedelo from Woodvale, Legend Lewis from Westside, Rami Crowell from Ernest Galette, Aizelyn Porsche from Austin, and Kamaya Boudreau from Evangeline. Great job for our elementary students. Our middle and high school students produced original artwork based on the theme African Americans who have made an impact by exemplifying courage, justice, and perseverance in their life work. Congratulations to Haley Guidry, Milton Middle School, Abigail Kettinger, Edgar Martin, Luke Hoffpower, LJ Alamo, Rashawn Boyance, Acadian Middle, Dylan Lewis, Early College Academy, and Kyrie Baudouin, Lafayette High School.
Next, we will have a recognition of ACT top achievers. I think it needs a better title. A 36 is a perfect score on the ACT. In 2024, roughly 1.4 million students in the U.S. took the ACT. Only about, I would like to say less than, 0.2% of the test scores were a perfect 36. In 2024, the average composite score nationally was a 19.4. In Louisiana, the composite average score was 18.2. But today, we are celebrating students who made a perfect 36 on the ACT in March 2024 and 2025. And just to let you know, they are not seniors. Sophie Chung, a 10th grader from Lafayette High. Kay DeRouche, he is an 11th grader at Lafayette High. Sophie Justice, 11th grade, Early College Academy. Ishan Kunada is a 10th grader at Lafayette High. Molly Lay, 10th grader at Lafayette High. Andrew Terrio, 11th grader at Lafayette High. And Lincoln Trump, a 10th grader at Lafayette High. Congratulations, guys. Outstanding work. What a true accomplishment. Ooh, someone on the back wall over there, you probably just accidentally hit the light switch. Thank you so much. Item 2.3. Marcia Bio Elementary's recognition for winning the School Garden Initiative on Cuisine de Jardin Cook-Off. Of course, Team LeBou. Miss LeBou, did you want to add any little bit to that? She has brought her previous awards to show this evening. There you go. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. So Miss Rachel Collins is our coach or teacher. Theo Dubois, Caroline Poirier, Malaya Russo, Amelia Labiche, Kinsley Kibido, of course, Miss LeBou, our District 7 school board member, Kessler Landry, our private chef, and where is Miss Christy Hayes, our principal of the school? Congratulations. I will go ahead and announce that Mr. Lachelet's team did come in second place at Charles Burke, and third place, Ernest Gaulet. Yes. We'd also like to add that Ms. Kessler Landry from Marcia Bio was honored by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Ag as the Classroom Teacher of the Year. Another great opportunity. Thank you for your partnership, 4-H. And Ms. LeBou welcomes any challenge next year. Item 2.4. Item 2.4 is a recognition of the anti-litter poster contest winners. The Anti-Poster Contest is an annual event that is put on by the Lafayette Consolidated Government, the Lafayette Garden Club, and the Bayou Vermilion Preservation Association. It is intended to engage students and teachers to promote a clean and beautiful local environment. The contest is open to all Lafayette public schools. There are 3 grade level categories, elementary, middle, and high. 3 winners in each category. In addition, each year, LCG uses student artwork to create a t-shirt design for volunteers as their annual Clean Litter Up Trash Bash event. We've also recently started using student artwork to create promotional educational stickers for the LCG Environmental Quality and Education Program. Also, the Cleanest School Contest is an annual event put on by the Lafayette Garden Club and LCG Cleanest City Committee. and runs in conjunction with the statewide Cleanest City Contest that is hosted by the Louisiana Garden Club. The winners of the Anti-Litter Poster Contest, Elementary, Connor Graves from Green Tea London, Samuel Molossaw from Elio Judice, Amelia Lambert from Milton Elementary. Middle school is Mayan Bucks from Edgar Morton, Fu Nguyen from Milton Middle, Jolie Jones from LJ Alamo. Our high school winners are Sam Harper Falk at Lafayette High, Raimi Manuel Roy at Lafayette High, Aliyah Hudush at Lafayette High. Congratulations. Don't move yet. Our overall best t-shirt design was Louisiana Litter Not for the Critter, Sam Harper at Lafayette High. And our best slogan, Plant Love, Not Trash, comes from Lafayette High as Aliyah Handush. Congratulations. Board members, if you say students, you can leave. Thank y'all so much. Hey, Linda. We'd like to honor our 3 cleanest schools in the school district. Our cleanest elementary school named this evening is Broadmoor Elementary. We have Miss Tracy Sanders here, the principal. If you would please come up. Our cleanest middle school is Milton Middle School, represented by the principal, Miss Amanda Guillory. And our cleanest high school, Southside High, represented by the principal, Miss Allison Bloomer. On behalf of LPSS and our community, thank you for keeping our campuses so clean. Please go back and congratulate your custodians also. That concludes our celebrations for this evening. Thank you.
Congratulations to everyone. Yeah, we're going to take a second and let Ms. Gardner do what she does. I don't know what we'll do if we ever have to replace Ms. Gardner. We're going to be in trouble.
Mr. President, can I have permission to speak?
You do.
Thank you. I just want to say how proud I am of Lafayette High and their ACT scores, to see them almost do a clean sweep of the category. I'm proud of the work those kids do, and to say they're not seniors was that's impressive. Because I was the type of kid in high school that probably would have drugged that 19.6 average down.
Mr. Edmond, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. LPS slogan is called "Experience the Difference." Ladies and gentlemen, you just seen the difference right here in front of us earlier. Many kids from different walks of life, all in tune in education. And I wouldn't be Josh Eben if I wouldn't say that Black history to me is every month, every day, and also that we read about many people throughout this world nationally, but we have one person in this room right now, Ms. Frances Shaw, that nationally everybody is reading about her. So Ms. Frances Shaw, keep doing what you're doing. We're proud of you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to 2.5, Facilities Year-End Review of District Projects. Dr. Rabelais, Mr. Gautreaux, somebody, anybody? We have a slideshow, I think. Try that one. Oh, there you go.
There it is. All right, good evening, everyone. So we're going to just show a very small snippet of what we do in my department, the Construction, Maintenance, and Facilities Department. I wish there was a way to show you everything we did, but we'd be here for a long time. So we have a little slideshow here, a few pictures. I do want to publicly say thank you to the people that let me do this job. I really enjoy it. Really love seeing the progress we get to make. And none of this would happen without the team that I have. I've got some great people that work for me to help us get this done. So we're going to go, and I have it set up by district, so we're going to show a little bit of each district. Here, a couple of pictures. The 20 pictures you're about to see is just a very small piece of what we do every day to make projects happen, make things happen. Our priority is the safety of students and teachers on campuses. We want them to be safe, want them to be comfortable, and want them to enjoy being there. And that's how we decide what happens and make our plans move forward.
Roll the slides, please. Okay.
All right, so we came into this, my team came in, we've been on not quite 2 years in, and we've got a lot done. We're just going to show you snippets of this by district. So El Leo, Judice, Miss Mia there had some visions when she came in, and we made those happen. Walking track around the front of the school. I think this project had been on the books for a few years. When we came in, we took care of that. The kids have a place outside that they're able to walk around. It's a little walking, running track. They use it as part of PE and just throughout the day. If you look on the left side, I know it doesn't look like much. You're looking at a picture of a light. We were able to get in with Entergy last year, and they came in and did a survey of our schools. They took 6 of our schools and didn't cost us a penny. They went in and changed every light, upgraded to an LED light, almost $2 million of free work that cost us zero. That effort is going to save us about 30% on our energy bills in those schools moving forward. So that's more money in our pockets. So we did it at 6 different schools last year, right? Scott Middle. So if you look on the left here, we went in and by early fall, we will have this done at every school. We're doing secure vestibules. So when you walk into a school to see your kid, to go there, you are not given access to students in our schools anymore. It's a security thing. It's a safety thing. You walk in, you're in a lockdown area that you cannot access the area where the students are. So on the left side here, you see, and this is a small example, and you'll see it in a few more pictures, we went in and put ballistic, what most people call bulletproof, ballistic glass, ballistic sheetrock that is shatter resistant, where if something did happen in school, everyone is as safe as possible. On the right side at Scott Middle, you can see there's some fencing. Our schools are all fenced in where people cannot just walk onto campuses anymore. So some secure issues, some secure things there. Acadiana High School. So this is one of the projects that happened. That is, as if you were looking from the stadium at Acadiana High, that canopy, that cover there, that is what they're calling the indoor practice facility. It's going to be used by the football team along with other people at Acadiana High. That facility there is way bigger than it looks. 90 by 180 was the size of it. It was a vision of different people in the district from the board. We made it happen this past year. If you look on the right, the playground there, so all of our playgrounds, we're doing an upgrade. It's a major project. We're adding those borders around the playgrounds. And if y'all remember, a year ago you went to a playground, everything was rock, pea gravel. And y'all know what kids do with pea gravel. So Board of Health allows pea gravel to a certain extent, but they prefer the mulch. They're actually converting to mulch. So we're going in, mulching, bordering all of our playgrounds to look like this. It's much safer for the kids, much better for them. On the left side right here at Austin, you can see another secure vestibule entry. So when you walk into the schools, this is what you see. You're not allowed beyond that part. Even when you're working with the attendance clerk or the front desk people, you don't have access to them. It's a slide just like a bank teller situation. Karen Crum Middle, this came out way better than any of us could have expected. If y'all remember that old building, it was old red brick. And we did this with Como High School last year, had a lot of great feedback of taking Como from old red brick to a white and blue color. This one, we let the principal, Mr. Leger, pick the colors, and we were hesitant, I'll be honest. When we said we're putting that much gold out there, we were not sold on it, but the vision came out and it looks awesome now. We're getting a lot of compliments on this. more of what the playgrounds look like. So again, that was all rock before. We mulched it, put borders. This was all freshly painted. New swings there for the kids. Carencro High School, so this is another one, Mr. DeZormo, and I know Mr. Edmond pushed hard for this. I was an ag teacher before I came here. I would have loved to have had this. This is at Carencro High School for their ag department, agriculture department. They have this as a storage facility. They have a tractor. They have implements. They have animals. They are a big show, livestock show school along with Acadiana High. So this is a very big facility. We were able to build it for a pretty decent price because we had existing concrete already. We built it on the tennis court. It's almost finished. It's at that phase right now. The doors are going to be in, I think, this week. We put lights in it since that photo. And I'll tell you this, when we went there and the kids came out and saw it, there were tears falling from kids and adults' eyes when they saw the facility that they were getting. So it was great to see that in person when they first got to see it up. More at Carencro High, new scoreboard, did some renovations in the gym there. The bigger one is this. So I student taught at Carencro High 24 years ago, and it looked like the before picture back then, maybe even worse. We took what they call it the chicken trail, is the road that goes around the back of the school, wraps around the entire athletic facility. We paved that road. So they now have a blacktop road wrapping around the entire facility. This is on the home side of where the fans go for the games. When it rained, it was a nightmare to drive through this and park there. So we actually limestoned that entire parking lot and did a nice road for them to get in and out. And I think Acadiana is going to be getting the same thing coming in from the back of Domain. So they're going to get a little bit there, and Acadiana is going to get taken care of. Evangeline Elementary, so painting. We've done painting in probably over a dozen schools this year where the majority of the inside of the schools were being painted. Some of our schools have probably not been painted since they were built, and some of our schools are 40, 50 years old. So we've done a very big initiative. Evangeline Elementary is one of them. We just did Middlebrook a couple of weeks ago. Scott Middle's getting some paint on the outside, and quite a few schools that did painting. So it looks really good when you put new paint on things. Paul Bro, in the kitchen at Paul Bro. So some of the things that people never get to see. You have to have a kitchen. They cook for kids. We have to be up to code. We have to follow regulations. The hood at Paul Bro was lacking in what it needed to be. We did an upgrade. And these are the things people don't see in schools that cost money. That hood has to be an industrial hood. That's a $500,000 project right there to upgrade and put a new hood vent over a cooking system in a school. And that was done this past year. Northside High School. So this is what they call the Viking Vault. They also call it the Nike store. It's a room that was in the library at Northside. They wanted to set up as a commerce area where kids could go in. Kids can actually work this. Part of the internship process of them getting the full credits they need. They learn some commerce, some business, and it's a great spirit event on campuses. Northside has this. We did the same thing at Acadiana High early on this year. Theirs is called the Rec Room. So this is just something new that schools are doing to entice kids to just see other things in businesses. They learn inventory and how to do sales. Charles Burke had two major projects. We had a flooring project. So if you look down, that's all vinyl flooring put in and painted the entire school. We did Burke, we did Live Oak. This upcoming year, we have Northside and Lafayette Middle, which is going to be Lafayette Elementary, getting pretty much the same treatment. And then after that, we're looking at J. Wallace James coming up next to get the same treatments. We've done a few of these around the district. So in the past, there really wasn't much storage on campuses. A lot of schools were utilizing classrooms for storage. So we still walk into some schools today, and you'll see 2 or 3 classrooms just filled with desks, filled with files, filled with filing cabinets. This is a cheap fix to get something outdoors that they can use for storage. So this is at Ridge Elementary. They're basically 30 by 40 storage buildings. Fairly cheap, under $50,000, and they can access classrooms again. Some of those classrooms that were not able to be used, they're able to use them again for PLC rooms, for any other type of room that they need. So this was at Ridge Elementary. This came out awesome. This was a project that had been in the work, I think, for 2 or 3 years before we got here. We finally got it started and going. This is at Judy's, brand new gym floor. That old gym floor had been there since Britt was there, probably. Yeah, old floors. We pulled the floor out. we pulled the floor. Nope, they didn't have air conditioning back then. Huh? Pulled the floor, did some concrete work underneath to resurface the concrete, put a brand new floor, new logos, moved the basketball goals, made it a regulation size gym, did a little bit of work on the bleachers, and then did another project that ended up coming after with some other floors in the offices there. So a lot of work at Judy's, looks really good. Broadmoor, same thing, a lot of painting happened there. That's one of the others. We did a major painting overhaul there, and I think Woodville was the other one. And if you look in the back, you see the playgrounds. Again, every elementary school by this summer will have these new upgraded playground borders. That one's dying. 20 pictures. Yeah, so you'll see the playgrounds there. Myrtle Place, so Mr. Bergeron, I know you went and looked at this one in person. So what was happening at Myrtle Place in the car rider line, when they would drive up with kids to get out, when they got out, they were in the rain. So we did a canopy overhang that you can see the posts are set back a little, so the cars can pull up real close. When the kids get out, they're not in the rain. We did a major initiative last year across all campuses. When Mr. Touchette walks campuses, if he sees a kid walking where they could possibly get wet, we put up a canopy. So we did quite a bit of that last year to take care of kids. They should not be getting wet anymore. Lafayette Middle, vestibule entry, same thing. So put some highly resistant doors, sheetrock that can't be penetrated with any projectile. Same thing with the glass windows, secure vestibules. Catherine Drexel, so we did this at Drexel, we did Milton, Evangeline, we did a big area where we're coming in and asphalting, putting some new asphalt. Some of it's parking, some of it is car rider area. Broussard Middle, so you'll see that there was some painting done at Broussard, and this is the fencing put up. So again, just securing our campuses so kids are safe. Como High School had a major restroom renovation, mostly in the athletic area, the gym, the stadium, and we even did some underground sewer repair there. We did it at multiple schools. We got one of those coming up at Northside this summer. We're redoing some underground sewer that's been there since the schools were started, and trees have come in and just have issues with drainage, so we're taking care of it. Corporal Middlebrook, entry vestibule. So you see both views here. You see the view on the left is when you walk into the school. You're looking at the vestibule area where you're going to sit, wait as a parent, wait for your kid. On the right side, you get to see where the employees are. So that's where the clerk would be inside of there. She's in a comfortable area behind secured glass, and bulletproof walls. Woodville, same thing, a secure entry vestibule there, coming in and just kind of secure down an area where kids do not have access. LJ Alamo, this is along West Bayou Parkway. We went ahead and put a fence there. That had been a short fence that was kind of halfway falling down in half of the places, had trees growing through it that were pushing the fence over. So we went ahead and put a 6-foot security fence along that area. Green Tea Linden had a couple of things. So if you see on the right-hand side, that's the walkway covers that we're putting up. I really need to sit down and figure how many miles of that stuff we put up. We did quite a bit in the last year. The center picture, they had an HVAC air condition upgrade there and some electrical upgrades. And on the left, if you look there, that's the lighting. That's another school that had every light in the school changed for free. Didn't cost us a penny. Ernest Gallet. So this is something we're looking at doing in a lot of schools. If you look at the floor here, that was the old tile floor that custodians had to strip and wax every year and constantly scrub to keep them clean. We pulled it out and went ahead and just went down to a concrete floor. We came in and sanded the floor down to a certain grit and then just sealed the floor. This is the easiest maintenance of all places. The janitors, custodians love it. So we're looking at doing this at others. We did the same thing at Lafayette Middle this past year, and so far everyone loves what we've done with it. Southside High School, this was a pavilion added. So this is an area that's outside that the kids can utilize outside during lunch. It's right outside of the art and band area, so they use this area during the day also. It's a covered pavilion area with seating, so the furniture was new and the pavilion itself, and we actually bought more furniture after this. And is that it? All right. Thank y'all. Hope y'all appreciate that, and wish I could show you more.
Mr. DeZarmo.
I just first want to thank you, Mr. Gotro. Karen Crow Middle does look amazing. And Karen Crow High, you shorted yourself on that indoor facilities coming up, and it's really nice. They got the new bus car driver drop off And then I know you're working on the front, so a lot of good things coming. But I really appreciate it. Austin got what they wanted. She said she's been asking for a little while. She kept getting pushed around, but you made it happen. And I think it's a lot to your team for the money you've saved on other projects, that we've had the money to do these extra projects. Because when I got on the school board, these weren't an option. They didn't become an option until the money became available. So I want to thank you and your team for that. And congratulations to Mr. Josh on the recovery.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Before I go into the next item, I'd like to kind of update people on an article that was written about Charles Burke and a company that came fix sinkholes. I prefer when people do an article and it involves one of my schools that you do your due diligence and really investigate. So let me tell you, I took office in 15. They have pictures of these sinkholes being addressed way back in 2016. Just throwing junk in there, concrete, whatever, causing nothing but problem after problem after problem after problem. Nothing getting taken care of. Okay, Mr. Gautreaux hired a company called Bosco. Okay, this is South Louisiana. You want to get something done? We all feel. This is all field country. He hired an all field company who came in and did maintenance. Didn't need to be a contractor. There was nothing built. They went in, replaced a pipe, did some maintenance, and guess what? No sinkhole problem anymore. So facilities and maintenance played around for 8 years, putting a Band-Aid on a severe problem where kids played. Shortest amount of time, Mr. Gautreaux hires Bosco. I don't care what they're labeled as. I really don't care. What is Mr. Touchette and this board's number one priority? Safety. Our children, okay? It took a principal that doesn't take no for an answer to put in the work order to get Mr. Gautreaux and his team out there to hire this company. I don't care what the name of your company is or where you come from. They fixed a problem facilities and maintenance couldn't fix for 8 years. You can't Band-Aid it when it comes to our kids. So if you want to write an article about one of my schools and bash the school system, go right ahead, but do your research and realize children come first, employees, and anyone on our campuses is their safety. Let a sinkhole take in a kid. How are we going to explain that? So, Mr. Gautreaux, thank you. I'm not going to mention the principal. Thank you. Bosco, thank you. You ever got to hire him again? And it's in District 5, knock yourself out. Okay? I don't micromanage. I didn't even know this work order was put in. I knew we had a sinkhole problem for a long time. Okay? I knew that. I don't know how to fix that. Well, we got a team now that knows how to fix it. So I have no problem with what was done. Zero, because I don't care how the problem got solved. Our faculty, administration, and everyone at Charles Burke is ecstatic because guess what? Our kids aren't going to fall in a sinkhole. So I challenge the people that wrote the article. Why don't you put this in there now and report the good stuff we're doing and get off of the negative? Same thing's happening in Washington, D.C. People are doing positive things and getting bashed because it's not the way it used to be. That burned me up when I heard about that article because the children are safe now. And if we did something wrong, hell, I'm okay with that. That's all I got to say about that, like Forrest Gump would say. 2.6. You got something to say? Go ahead, sir.
I do. I want to personally thank Mr. Gautreaux. Been knowing Mr. Gautreaux a long time. In fact, he came into the system when I started as an assistant principal, so we've been together a long time. So, and I'll go back to when I was an administrator or principal, we couldn't get anything done at any school that I was at. We raised the money, we did it ourselves because we couldn't get anything done. Now all you got to do is ask, and Mr. Gautreaux and his team finds a way to get it done. So I appreciate it. The pictures that he showed is only a small snippet of what's going on in the parish. Every district is getting something done. Each school's getting something done. So Mr. Gautreaux, thank you. The kids are the ones and the teachers are the ones that are benefiting from your hard work. Thank you.
Mr. Lejeune, what did they call Acadiana when you were there?
They call us the Wild Wild West.
We did what we had to do to take care of our kids. And you know what? We're still the Wild Wild West, but we got a new sheriff in town. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to compliment Mr. Gautreaux as well. In my first term, I only received complaints about the way my campuses looked, how they were maintained, everything. In this term, finally, we're getting compliments from neighbors, from everywhere. In District 8, all of my schools are in very visible spots. And I am so happy that people are noticing. And I was also told previously to always have a fundraiser whenever I needed something done at my school. So thank you to our superintendent and Mr. Gautreaux for taking care of business as they should. Thank you.
Mr. Bergeron?
Thank you. So, like Mr. Gautreaux said, like what he had up on screen isn't even close to the work. Like Myrtle Place, he put one thing up there, but I know we put a covering over the employee entrance, right? Because when you go to buzzing through the employee entrance, you were going to get rained on. Solar film on the windows in the cafeteria, because if you've ever been there when the sun was shining through, you were going to burn up in that cafeteria. What else we did over there? We did a secure vegetable over there. Lafayette Middle, right? We did a whole library renovation over there. It's beautiful. We're about to work on the cafeteria there. Again, putting in more security features over there. I'm going to tell you my story about the first time I asked Robert Gautreaux to go paint something. We had 2 spots in that stairwell at Lafayette Middle for 6 months. It stood there unpainted. I called Robert and I said, what can we do? He's like, I'll send somebody over there to paint it right now. And he went over there and we had it done within a week. Like it was 2 hours of work. But at that unpainted spot on that stairwell sat there for at least 4 to 5 months that I saw. So I appreciate that. So keep up the good work.
All right, we'll move on to 2.6. 2002 half-cent sales tax interest reserve payment to classroom teachers. I know that was discussed in the budget meeting, but Mr. Dugas, could you tell them how much they're getting?
Yes, we're pleased to announce that per the 2002 tax dedication, that a 13th check be issued for any interest earned earned on the reserve fund, and this year that calculation comes up to $598.44, which is the highest we've ever had. So we're really ecstatic to announce that will be paid in a separate direct deposit on the last day of school.
Thank you, sir. That takes care of our information items. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the consent agenda, we have a board member who'd like to add an item, which is allowed, and it takes a unanimous vote by the board just to get it on the agenda. We're just putting it on the agenda, and then we'll go to it. Ms. Mason?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to add an item to the consent agenda. The motion is that the board approve the relocation of the visual arts program that is currently at Ove Como High School to Lafayette High for the 2025-26 school year.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Ms. Mason and a second by Mr. Bergeron. I'm going to have to ask for clarification. Do we ask for public comment on adding an item? No? Yes? Yeah. Yes. Is there any public comment on adding this item? We're not voting yes or no. We're just adding it to the agenda. Any board member comment?
Can I say?
Ms. Mason?
I just wanted to explain why I needed to add this item. Later in the agenda, there was some confusion amongst members and the public of which Arts Academy we're talking about moving at Como, and most of us were under the impression that it also included the visual arts. So that's why I've added it here. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, do you want to put this up or do you want to do a voice vote? Voice vote. Okay. Do you want to call it by district?
Mr. Lejeune?
Yes.
Mr. Edmond? Yes. Mr. Hidalgo?
Yes.
Mr. Lachele?
Yes.
Ms. Mason?
Yes.
Ms. LeBou?
Yes.
Mr. Bergeron?
Yes.
Mr. Decimo?
Yes.
And Ms. Trahan?
Yes.
9 for, none against.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has just been added to the agenda. It'll probably be put at the bottom of the agenda. It'll be 3.3? Oh, no, we're not adding it. Okay, it'll be 3.4. I'm going to go ahead and read the consent agenda minus that one. 3.1, discussion on our action concerning the approval of the superintendent's recommendation to adjust the salary schedule for teachers and those on the instructional pay scale. 3.2, discussion and our action to relocate the SOAR program, that's Success Opportunities Achievement and Reengagement from Ambassador Annex to the Rosen campus. 3.3, discussion and our action to relocate the Performing Arts program at Ove Como High School. Below that will be the discussion and our action to relocate the Visual Arts program at Ove Como High School to Lafayette High School. 3.4, discussion and our action concerning the 2025-2026 pupil progression plan. 3.5, discussion and our action to allow the superintendent to negotiate and enter into a contract for HVAC consulting services with engineering firm Henry C. Iyer Jr., PE Consulting Engineers. 3.6, discussion and our action concerning the 2024-2025 salary schedule booklet. 3.7, discussion or action considering the declaration of surplus property at Corporal Middlebrook. 3.8, discussion or action to close out projects not started and to transfer of projects funds to contingency within the Capital Improvement Construction Fund. 3.9, discussion and or action to use contingency and or committed funds for improvements to facilities. 3.10, discussion and action concerning the current custodial formula used in allocated custodial personnel per site. 3.11, discussion and action concerning the extension of the fiscal agent contract.
Pull that, please. I have a conflict of interest.
3.12, discussion and action concerning the declaration of surplus and authorization to market, negotiate, and or execute the sale of property at 200 Clare Street, Old Truman site. 3.13, discussion or action concerning authorization to execute certified site memorandums of agreement for 3 sites on Section 16 property in Youngsville. 3.14, discussion or action concerning the April budget to actual revisions for fiscal year 24-25. 3.15, discussion or action concerning budget changes to BO Elementary 2024-2025 matching funds project. 3.16, discussion or action to give the superintendent authority to negotiate a contract for all casualty and property lines, including student coverages, insurance broker services with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services. 3.17, discussion or action concerning Resolution 05-025-2134 Teacher Appreciation Week. 3.18, Child Nutrition is discussion or action concerning Resolution 05-025-2133 Food Services Workers Week and School Lunch Hero Day. 3.19, discussion and action concerning Resolution 05-025-2135, National School Nurses Day. 3.20 is discussion or action concerning the minutes of April 2nd and 10th, 2025. And 3.21 is approval of all action consent items. I will now entertain a motion that we approve all items not pulled.
Mr. President, I ask that the board approve all action consent items with the exception of items pulled.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Bergeron and a second by Mr. DeZarmo that we approve all items not pulled. Ladies and gentlemen, you may discuss. I will call for public comment. You may discuss any item that was not pulled. You have 3 minutes. Please let us know which item you're talking about and make your comments for or against. It's not an open discussion with the board, questions back and forth. It's your stance for or against. I'll now call for public comment on all items not pulled.
Julia Reed, President, Lafayette Parish Association of Educators, speaking on item 3.1. Good evening, Board and Superintendent. First of all, organization would like to express our support of the increases to the salary schedule, and also express our thanks to the superintendent in finding room in the budget to raise the base teacher salary. Since taking office, he has promised to get starting teacher pay to $50,000. His follow-through on his word holds great promise for our students and educators. Increasing base salary makes teaching for LPSS not only more attractive for current teachers at other systems, but also to students choosing majors when enrolling at university. Getting more teachers means less classrooms without certified teachers or a teacher at all. This benefits our students and also provides relief to educators having to cover the burden of empty classrooms. It has the potential to retain established teachers longer who would then be available and free to mentor these new teachers. We wholeheartedly support base pay raises. We also appreciate pay being extended to extra duties for clubs and other co-curricular activities. Not all districts are taking responsibility for fairly paying them employees for work that they do outside of the instructional day, and we very much appreciate that you acknowledge that our time has value. However, we do have some concerns and things that we would like to see altered about the incentive pay package as placed forward. We have two primary concerns with it, one being that it is mostly based on standardized testing or assigned to a standardized testing grade. And many teachers often express to us that they don't always feel like they have control over what happens on that test. And it is very stressful to them and to their students. And so something cannot be motivating if it is not something that you feel that you have control over. The other issue that we would like to see correct is to see it expanded to all teachers, all educators, excuse me. All people on a school campus contribute to the education of the child. We educate an entire child, not just a test taker. And so we would like to see their hard work valued just as much as those who teach those testing classes. I've done some research over the past few months looking into pay for performance schemes, and there are things that you can do that value all people, incentives linked to a school score that are available to all staff. Because when all staff are rowing their boat in the same direction, we will get there much faster. In closing, I do want to again say thank you, and that we appreciate the value placed on our teachers, and we very much support these pay raises. And then with my last 5 seconds, I might go over like 2 seconds. I would like to wish my son, Gus Chapman, happy birthday. Today is his 9th birthday, so happy birthday, Gus. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Come on up and please say which item you're speaking on.
My name's Zoriel Tapo, and I'm talking about the performing arts being moved from Como. Never imagined that twice in a school year I would be sitting in front of the school board pleading and fighting for Como and our programs. You believe this is the best decision for students, correct? Well, it was very well could be for which students, though. It would have been nice to have an opportunity to have a conversation about this. It would have been nice to find out about this more than 48 hours ago, since it will be in effect in less than 3 months. Effective and open communication is essential for all, not just for some. There are many questions for the students this will directly affect, and I'm not just talking about at Como. As a member of the Lafayette Parish School System High School Advisory Panel, I am saddened that we didn't even have a what-if conversation about this. You know, what if this academy moved here or there, or what if this program was offered here or there? And unfortunately, this public comment section is not an open dialogue where we could have an opportunity to discuss all the questions that we might have. We deserve so much more than this, and the momentum that has been built this year is going to continue regardless of your decision. Thank you to Ms. Cassidy, Dr. Atkins, Mr. Marks, our faculty and staff, and CAFE members who have worked oh so hard each day to make Como the school that I love to attend. I know I don't have a vote, but I definitely have a voice. My prayer is that one day the people who have a vote dedicate some time to an open and genuine discussion with the people who only have a voice, the students who your decision affects.
Thank you. Any other public comment? If anybody, we can seat 2 people at a time, so that if you have anything you want to say, you can come up 2 at a time to save just a little bit of time. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, this is about the move of Como's PAA programs.
Okay.
So I'm here today as a concerned member of our community and a parent of a Como PAA student. The recent proposal to relocate the arts academies from Como High School to Lafayette High School has raised significant concerns among students, parents, and educators alike. While the intention behind this move may be to optimize resources or address logistical challenges, it's crucial to consider the broader impact on our students. The Arts Academy at Como, an A school, has cultivated a unique environment where creativity thrives and students have built strong relationships with their peers and their mentors. Uprooting this program could disrupt not only their educational journey and academic focus, but also their emotional well-being. What's even more concerning is the speed of this proposed change. A decision of this magnitude, one that affects where students learn, how families manage transportation, how teachers serve their students, should not be made without deliberate planning and very transparent communication. Frankly speaking, you have done neither. All of the Como students have completed their scheduling requests, many of which are going into their senior year, where they have carefully planned their schedules to ensure they have the required credits for their top scholarships. Has the board considered any of this? Rushing this process directly contradicts the Lafayette Parish School Board's mission, which I will state in case everybody doesn't know. It's to provide all students the educational foundation to succeed in life and contribute to a continually evolving world. That mission is built on the principles of equity and, most importantly, student-centered decision-making. Making a sudden change without thorough input from those most affected, students, parents, teachers, does not reflect those values. And while I understand that you have a fiduciary responsibility to identify these cost savings, your first responsibility is to work to deliver on this mission. And any compromises should not be made at the expense of our children's future. Families deserve to be informed and supported. Many have built their routines, work schedules, carpools, housing around their child attending the academy at Como. For some, the move to Lafayette High creates serious transportation barriers. For others, it can mean losing the sense of belonging and identity that their child has found through this program. Before making such a significant change, I urge the board to engage with stakeholders, involve students and parents, assess this impact, honor your mission. Ultimately, we all want what's best for the students of Lafayette Parish, but in this case, I believe you want a hurried decision that you know will reduce the attendance rate at Como as a last-ditch effort to create a catalyst to close the school, which is what I believe you wanted all along. But the best outcomes require thoughtful planning, honest communication. Superintendent Tuchet, you have expressed concern for the growing enrollment in charter schools. But throughout this entire process, trust has been irrevocably broken. And I hope you will delay this decision, engage your community, and ensure that we are building, not disrupting. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment? We can take 2 people at the table at a time. Go ahead.
Mr. Touche, I would like to thank you for trying to give us a teacher raise. I have the same concern as Miss Julie. I feel that we need something that will be able to benefit everybody, because I think it would be beneficial, because right now in the legislature session, HB 105, they're trying to do away with the LEAP test, and there will be a different norm test that they're coming up with. So, this LEAP test that we're making a decision on may not be around depending on how it will go through the legislature session. And also, I just had some concerns that the incentive package is tied to attendance. We live in an area that's prone to natural disasters. And, I think that needs to be taken into consideration. Also, you have people that take care of their loved ones that may have health issues. Family medical leave, need to be taken into consideration. And also, you have people that have chronic health conditions. They shouldn't be penalized not to get a bonus if they have a chronic health condition that they have no control over. So I think tying it to attendance is, I understand that you want your employees to come to work. I understand that, but I think there needs to have a clause, something about at the superintendent's discretion, if y'all decide to proceed with this incentive package. Also, if y'all do decide to go with this incentive package, also, you need to think about the special education teacher, the Leap Connect teachers. We matter. We help to, with the school performance scores, our test results matter. Because we teach students with disability, we shouldn't get the less amount of money than all the other teachers. But I'm with Ms. Julie. Everybody should be rewarded because it takes a team effort to educate a child.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, any board comment? Mr. Lejeune. Notice I called you first, sir. I didn't go to this side first.
Oh, it doesn't matter. My question is for the superintendent. Talking about the salary plan. Went to your town hall meeting, very informational, but I'd like for you to explain that a little bit about it, and that it is a pay raise for everyone. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. So first of all, Mr. Lejeune alluded to that we had 4 different town hall meetings where we invited all of our employees to come and just kind of hear about the plan. Some of which was very limited as far as the population is concerned, and some of which had more. But more important is that there was an online ability to be able to give your input on whether you were for or you were against those particular measures. We then put the entire plan on the site, and we again opened it up for more comment. It focuses on, number one, across the board raises for all teachers. Whether you are a special ed teacher, or whether you're a Leap Connect teacher, whether you're a PE teacher, whether you're an art teacher, $50,000 starting salary for the teacher that has a bachelor's degree. That means that there is going to be increases for every teacher in this district, whether they have more degrees or whether they have seniority as far as experience. So again, that to me is huge when we talk about incentivizing the young to come in and to retain the experience that we have. The piece that is going to really set us apart, and guys, I will tell you, I'm taking a business model to this. We have people out there that meet certain quotas as far as their work is concerned. And if they meet that quota, they get paid more money. I am looking at that same type of approach. They talked about standardized tests. They talked about different things. Listen, we have to have a true measure of whether or not a kid has grown or not, and that is our measure. And what I will say to you is that we have tried in every which way to look at what we're doing, because next year, every single person that is listening in this audience and in this particular community needs to understand accountability in the state of Louisiana is changing for every school district. That means that every school is going to be measured differently. And what we have done is we have taken this incentive plan and we have matched it to what the state is doing. Because here's what my biggest fear is. If we don't have something to incentivize people to stay in those subjects that are being put all of that weight on, they're going to leave. And if they leave and they flock to other jobs, we're not going to have anybody to teach our kids in those respected classes and those subject areas. So I will just end by saying this. The plan was given an opportunity for people to weigh in on. We had town hall meetings. We then brought the entire plan to give everyone an opportunity to weigh in on it again. Every year, we're going to do this, and we're going to look at how we can tweak this. Is it perfect? It's not perfect. But what I can say to you is that we're going to set ourselves apart from every school district by us doing this. This is huge. Guys, I have a pulse on what's happening in the state. And nobody is taking these measures. Nobody is taking this proactive measure as far as trying to meet it. Because when it's all said and done, It is about our kids that are going to be in those classrooms that are going to have higher standards, higher marks, and all of that weight is going to be put on those teachers in those particular areas. This is huge. This is huge for our entire district. And I'm just asking that we just take this step. And listen, I give you my word, we will tweak it. We will change it. If it's not working, we're going to change to whatever we have to do. But I think this is a step forward that is going to be, it's going to pay dividends because our kids are going to benefit from it.
Hey, 50,000 starting pay, where does that put us at in the area?
Ms. Gardner, you want to kind of talk about where we were and in what this will bring us to?
Sure. On the October 9th meeting, 2024, we discussed where we ranked in the state. With the 24-25 salaries that were established, we were ranked 29th in the state when I spoke on the October 9th meeting. With putting 50,000 in, we will now be ranked at 18th in the state. With the 7 surrounding school districts, currently we are 3rd in the surrounding school districts. And now we will be the first where no one else is starting at the 50,000 mark. Everyone would be below all the way down to $41,000.
So this puts us in a very competitive advantage than the other areas. So
Yes, sir. And the other thing that's very unique about Lafayette Parish, there we have a lot of surrounding parishes that actually tap you out at 25 years. So you could be a school teacher who'd be working for 35 years and your pay would be frozen at 25 years. In our district currently, our scale goes all the way up to 55 years at this time, with an increase each year, again, like Mr. Touche had said, both vertically and horizontally for having additional degrees and certifications.
Thank you. And I also want to add that, Mr. Touchette, if you can kind of just very briefly explain that we've talked a lot about teachers and we talked about teacher incentives, but the package has other areas that are going to incentivize our parish.
Yeah, well, first of all, we right now don't pay teachers that are involved with clubs and organizations that they do outside of the school day. So we're gonna start paying. But here's another thing that happens is that we have certain organizations, certain clubs that get a certain stipend and their duties are within that stipend. But outside of that, when they proceed and they do extra work, there is no incentive, there's nothing there. So let's just talk about the band director. The band director that is doing all it has to do within the amounts that we give them as far as a normal season is concerned. They're all getting the same pay. But when we have band directors that are qualifying for different levels and proceeding and working extra while the others are sitting home, we need to pay those individuals. Coaching, for example, coaching. Guys, whether it be cheer, whether it be dance, we have people that when they go into the playoffs, we got people sitting home at 0-10. They got the same stipend as the guy that made 10-0. And the cheerleader sponsor, the dance team sponsor, the football coaches, the assistants, all have to continue to work, and they're not getting paid for it. All I'm saying is that let's pay people, and listen, we're not talking a lot of money, but it's more than what they were paid before. They are not getting anything. That dance team person who has to work with those girls, that band director that has to work and go and travel with the football team the first round, pay them. Pay them because they have that extra week, those extra couple of weeks. So again, I will go back to, it's not perfect. We will look at it year in and year out. We will get feedback. We'll do what we can, but listen, this is going to really set us apart from anywhere else.
Mr. Edmond?
Mr. Touchette, I got 2 questions. According to 3.1, I respect the $50,000 raise for the teachers and all the incentive pays that we're going to be bringing along with it. But there's still 3 groups of people that I want to make sure we highlight them and don't forget them. Is the paras, the custodian workers, and the cafeteria workers. We just seen that we had 3 cleaner schools, and we know that was the effects of the custodial workers doing their due diligence to keep their school clean. And I want to just put on record that we can't forget about these people. We got to make sure that they get, because some of these parents making $1,100 a month with a family, and that's not a lot of money.
Yes, sir. And what I'll say is that for the last 2 years, and I don't know if you guys remember this, for the last 2 years, we have given custodians raises and we have given cafeteria workers raises for the last 2 years. Mr. Edmonds is correct. There is a group that we need to address, which is paraprofessionals. And I am talking to our team and we're seeing what we can do. Yes, we need to do a better job of even after those 2 raises for for custodians and also for our cafeteria workers, we need to look at it. But we have addressed custodians and we've also addressed our cafeteria technicians. We need to go back to the table and we need to look at our paras. And you have my word that I will look at it and we will get something done.
And one more thing, Mr. Touchette, 3.10, I just want you to give a little clarification on that agenda item there, consent item.
Yeah, 3.10 is to be able to give Mr. Gautreaux and his team, first of all, in the past, it's been about square footage and allocating, certain janitors, whatever. Mr. Gautreaux is the one that is in charge. It gives him the flexibility based upon, what is going on at that particular school. If he feels like he needs extra people at a certain school, there's certain things that are happening that square footage doesn't work always. It's not something that you can put your hand on. And I just feel as though he needs the flexibility that within the numbers that you guys are allocating, which is 215, give him the ability, because he knows, along with his custodian supervisor, where certain personnel need to be. So we're not getting rid of these individuals. It's to be able to make sure that he has the flexibility, because he was handcuffed before. And it was like, okay, you can only get 6 people at this school. Well, he may need 8 people at this school, and this school doesn't need as much. So all I'm saying is, he is the one, along with his team, that knows what is needed at those schools, and this is to give him the flexibility. But you also have a parameter that is, he stays within the limits of what you guys are allowing, which is the 215. Because I'm going to tell you, I need more people at certain schools to be able to get this work done, because some of this work is very cumbersome. It is something to where he needs more manpower.
Mr. Hidalgo?
All right, Mr. President, I have 3 items I'd like to speak on. The first, I'd like to start off on a real positive. Superintendent, could you look at item 3.13 and just kind of let everybody know the positive good thing that's happening with this item and what we have to look forward to down the road?
So board members and members of the public, and again, looking at the district as a whole, we have 16 section land that is all over this district. Lafayette Parish has lots of land, and a lot of this land we're not utilizing or we're not taking advantage of and trying to get as much revenue as possible. Some of this 16 section land, which is right smack dab in Lafayette Parish, we get really good monthly checks because we own that property, we own that building, so on and so forth. This is an opportunity where in Youngsville, around Southside High School, Mr. Gautreaux, myself, has looked at future growth in case there is a need to put 4 more schools around Southside High School. So we took plots of 20 on each side. So we have 80 acres of land that we are planning for future growth if we need to, as far as schools are concerned. Outside of those 80, we need to do better than just getting rent from a farmer because they're sugarcaning. We have opportunities, guys, Shim and Metairie. And if we start leasing this property out to industrial businesses, there's an opportunity. This right here, what you're doing tonight, is to let me, along with Mandy Mitchell, certify this so that we can market this particular property and hopefully encourage businesses to come and land on that property. And it can really, as Mandy would say, putting it on steroids, getting it out there, making sure that the public knows about it. So this is just an avenue. We're not there saying that we have possibilities of someone taking over, but this is a possible revenue that could pay dividends. And I'm just saying that let's look at every opportunity to bring money into the district. This could be huge if we can land some big businesses and get some long-term leases and start collecting money monthly. And we talk about building schools, we talk about renovating schools. We need money to do that. Here's an opportunity for us to be able to do that.
This might be a little down the road, but this is going to be a big deal for us at some point in the future. The second item I wanted to touch on briefly is 3.1. Superintendent, I want to thank you. I was part of your roadshow, at least in District 9. It was disappointing to see the turnout or the lack thereof there, but I know that you had higher turnout as you continued on throughout the district. I think that the teachers do, across the board, period, across the board, absolutely deserve a pay raise. I'm so glad that you made the cuts that you did, and we did the things we did to find the money to give them a pay raise. And I want to say that the incentive package, the merit-based package, that's the modern world. That's where we are, and that's where we need to be. So I'm very excited. I know you took a lot of feedback. I saw the plan when you first put it out there, and it's not the same plan that you're proposing tonight. So you obviously took feedback from the employees of the school system, and I want to thank you for doing that. I think it's going to make a big deal. Mr. Edmonds stole my thunder. I want to echo what he said. I said it the first time I was on the board. I'm ashamed that it didn't get done. I'm asking you to please, we need to get the paras taken care of. And I know that you address custodians and food service. I'm going to ask you to please lump them back in there and readdress them, because they are still, I don't believe they're fairly paid. Okay? I know it's going to be a big deal, but we keep hearing in the media we have a money problem. We don't have a money problem. We have a budget problem. We have money, and now we have to decide what we're going to do with it. We have to prioritize. And I'd like this to be a priority at the very latest in our next budget cycle. But thank you for the work you did on this package. This is forward thinking. And regardless of what the state does and decisions they make during their legislative session, you have forged a path. You are the leader in the state on creating our own internal accountability system that I think actually the state is going to wind up using down the road, because it's got a lot more forethought than what arguably some of the legislators have put forth. So even no matter what they do at the legislative level, we have our own foundation to build upon. So if this package is not perfect in the first year, we're going to continue to fix it, and I look forward to that. The last item I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to let it pass by without speaking about it, is item 3.3. The performing arts. The first thing I think that we need to stop doing, guys, as a school board, we can't stop the media and we can't stop some in the public. We got to stop saying closing Como. There has never, ever been a time where anyone has suggested to close Como. If things happen, and not just at Como, but at any campus, we closed S.J. Montgomery, right? Because it was deplorable and we knew that we couldn't renovate it, so we closed it. That's closing a school. It's gone. Whether or not we have to do any repurposing at any school, or reconfiguration or reconstitution, or whatever term you want to use at any school, we got to stop using the word closing. And I hope we can kind of ingrain that in our minds, despite what others might think or believe, because that's not what we have tried to do. When I was on the board in 2016 or 17, we made a move. We moved performing arts from Lafayette High School to Como High School. We invested $7 million in a facility there for that specific move. There were a lot of reasons we did it at the time. When we did it at the time, we got the same feedback from the students and parents. Don't move us. Why are you moving us? It's going to be an upheaval in our life and this, that, and the other, and we had very specific reasons that we did it. And guess what our number one reason was? What one of the speakers mentioned tonight. We have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers across this parish. We are never, ever, ever going to put kids in a worse educational environment than they're in. So the idea that we don't take our fiduciary responsibility serious, because we can have dozens of topics that are emotionally driven, that can be said, well, don't worry about your fiduciary responsibility because we don't want to uproot what we're doing. We made that move, and guess what? Here I am. It wasn't the best move. We did it for several reasons, and those reasons did not come to fruition. It's not the administration. The administration there now has built more culture and opportunity than arguably many administrations over the past decade, arguably. It's not the administration's fault. It's nature's fault. The people in our community don't want to go there. And I said it. I'm saying it. I'm telling you what people are telling me. I'm getting feedback from folks saying, why don't y'all just rezone? I am not rezoning my district to any other school. My district has told me where they want to go to school, and that's where. So if there's a rezone proposal, it's not coming from me, so we could put that to bed. But the fact is that people are choosing not to go there. I don't know why. Hopefully before we're finished with the conversation, somebody here can tell me why. I don't know why. But I'm not going to let a program fizzle out. The numbers are here. Let's talk about the numbers, guys. This is reality. We can't let this slide. Miss Gardner, can you give us the numbers?
Yes, sir. Technology, can you switch? They're switching me over right now. So through the district optimization process and on a yearly basis, we look at all academy numbers over the course of the years, the intake. And so I was asked to compile some numbers, historical data, plus some 3-year data, and I will take a moment to explain it. I will try and make it a little larger for you at this point. So currently right now we have J. Wallace James, that is a performing arts school. We have just brought online, the board voted during district optimization in November to bring on board Middlebrook as this side of the river, performing arts. Then they feed directly into LJ Alamo. The first set of data I was asked to compile was the number of academy students at LJ Alamo that have committed to the performing arts. The majority of these have been over, and I say majority, over 50% have been through the J. Wallace James track into LJ Alamo. As you can see, currently there are 181 students out of almost 300 that belong in 8th grade to the academy. Then there was 180, then in 22, 23 there were 215. The students that are LJ Alamo have first priority in a lottery to continue on their pathway, and that's what the pathways are designed to continue with. Over the course of the years, currently for next year in the 25-26 school year, 11 performing arts school students at LJ Alamo have chosen to go to Como, and 8 in visual arts. The year before, 15 out of 180 and 5, and 215, there were only 28 and 5 that chose to continue on the pathway. I was then asked to look at the history of the actual performing arts and visual arts I already had, because again, through district optimization back in November, the numbers were already compiled. I actually have the history of all academies, not just Como. In the 16-17 year was the last year that the performing arts was at Lafayette High. So I'd like to clearly state that performing arts was at Lafayette High and visual arts had always been at Como. So there was never, they were separate. The board voted that to move them in the beginning the 17-18 year. The last year, the performing arts itself had 556 children enrolled in it at Lafayette High. When it moved to Como, they had built the new performing arts wing. During that year, we had 265, and as you can see, currently, as of today, we have 152 with an expected of 127 for the fall. For visual arts, again, visual arts have always been in Como. We have gone up and down, but we are down to 60 at this time.
Thank you. Oh, is that it, or you got more?
I do have more. So, performing arts does consist of band, piano, strings, guitar, choral, theater, arts, and dance. And this is the current breakdown for the 25-26 school year. It was vetted by the Department of Magnet Academies and cross-checked before this meeting to make sure the numbers were accurate with the applications. So currently, next year, we will have 35 seniors, 46, 28, and with an expected of 18 freshmen as of today. A total of one. That's how the 127 is compiled. And in visual arts, of course, visual arts, we just keep it in one category. We were expecting a total of 60.
These are the numbers. This is a lot of history and a pretty doggone solid projection. This is not giving our students holistically across the parish the best opportunity. For a couple of the emails I got that we're not giving fair and ample opportunities there at Como. We spent $7 million on a facility right out the gate year one when we moved the facility, when we moved the program. We've added a pathway. We've tried to push people down that pathway. Do I think it's a perception issue? I do. It's our reality. There's nothing we can do about it. So we have to address this issue. We can rezone kids. They're not going to go, ladies and gentlemen. Put it on the record. They're not going to go. They did the same thing. That's why they were at Lafayette High, because they wanted to be at Lafayette High. Okay, if they wanted to be in this program, 500 kids would have left Lafayette High and went to Como. Yet half of them left. That tells me they were not in the program for the program. They were in the program to be at Lafayette High. We've allowed ourselves to play that game all these years because of our academies. Our job is to provide opportunity for our students, the entirety of the parish, not just a select cohort. And we're never going to send students to another school and they're going to get less of an opportunity. So, I don't know how else to argue this point other than to say I'm the only one up here that's a graduate of Como High School, a proud graduate of Como High School. It's a wonderful school. I can't change the perception of what we have out in the community. If we could have, we would have. We had an emotional outcry when our district optimization plan was presented to us. A lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, sometimes we as board members, I'll speak for myself, I sometimes vote on emotion. I voted on emotion in November when the district optimization plan came here. The facts were in front of us. It was plain as day, yet I voted no because it was an emotional decision because I graduated there. Okay? That was the reason I made my vote. I'm entitled to do that, to represent my district, because a lot of people who graduated there were reaching out to me and saying, don't do this, don't do this. Misperception. We were closing Como. That was never the case. This is not a move to close or to repurpose Como. This is a move to give more students in our district an opportunity at a program that is dying on the vine for no good reason, but it's a fact. So I'm going to support this. I'm also going to support continuing to give the resources that Como High School needs. But if we got people that say, we're not going to that school, there's nothing we can do about it. Mr. President, I think that was my 3 items.
I think it was 4, but we'll go back. Ms. Gardner, could you look back at the film later in the week and see? I think it was 4, but I'll give you that. It's fine. Any other board comment? Well, I knew that. You cannot say again that you won, but you may comment now. Go ahead.
I don't even know if I have the energy to say much, but I do want to thank Mr. Hidalgo. As somebody said earlier, we're fiduciaries. I mean, our 3 obligations when we sit on this board is budget, policy, and hiring and firing the leader of this system. And so, unfortunately, the emotional part can't come into play all the time, especially not when we're facing a budget shortfall or budget crisis. So, I do want to commend the superintendent on using our dollars to prioritize things like teacher pay, teacher incentives. Cade Brumley, our state superintendent, came here and actually commended our superintendent and said he is leading the way on so many things. And so for somebody who was considered to be Secretary of Education by the president to compliment our superintendent as being the leader of our state, I think that says a lot about why our school system is doing so well. So 3.1, I just do want to say that I'm very proud that we're able to do that. 3.13, I'm very grateful that you're looking at, actually ran on the issue of wanting to do something with our property. And if people don't know what 16th section is, in the state of Louisiana and all over the United States, everything's broken up into township and ranges, and they have 36 sections within each of those that have 640 acres per section. And the state of Louisiana gave to each of the school systems all of the 16th section within each of the township and ranges, which means that they gave us 640 acres every time there's a 16th section. So that's what we own, and that's where we can put our schools, and that's what we can make money on. And COVID happened, and we didn't get to really look at making our property valuable and making an impact. And so the fact that we have somebody now doing that, and maybe we're not here in 2 years saying we have a budget crisis, maybe we have a budget surplus, because we're actually using our property and making money rather than continue to do what we've done year over year. So thank you for 313. And as far as Como, I'm so glad Jeremy reinforced the fact this is not a closure. It was never a closure. We were going to create a career and technical academy when it was discussed earlier in the district optimization plan. We had plans for the school. The school was not going to sit empty. The school was not going to be used. And we have a wait list for career and technical programs. We're telling kids, no, you can't be in the career and technical academy where it is now. It's hard to ignore a wait list when you have how many seats sitting empty in an academy. I mean, it's really hard for us to say we have room. The new Lafayette High, everybody keeps saying you're going to overcrowd the new Lafayette High. We have 1,700 kids at Lafayette High right now, around 1,700. We're building a new school for 2,300. Let's move that academy, and let's re-envision what Como is. We have a dynamic principal. The school has never been so clean. It's never been so ready to bring into something new. We have a need, and we have excitement, and we have a wait list for something. To me, it makes perfect sense that the community is telling us, we need this. We want this. We want more of this. Why aren't you giving it to us? Let's find a way to do it. Let's get community partners on board. Let's get every company who needs employees, let's get them into this school and say, hey guys, let's work together to partner to make better career opportunities. Let's give these kids a direct path to be able to walk out with their diploma and start a lucrative career. So it's one idea. It may be the best idea. It may be the worst idea, but I do think that we need to walk out of this meeting and not have the press say we're hurting Como. No, we're going to take those kids and we're going to give them the same opportunity to get a focus on arts along with other awesome education. And then we're going to sit here and say, what amazing program can we bring into this school, and what can we do to this school to reinvigorate it so that the next expanded phase of this school can happen, because I think we're poised to make that happen. So I thank you for saying that, Jeremy. You are a proud graduate. We're going to continue to make you a proud graduate, and we're going to do something with Como. So I just want to say that please understand that this isn't a reflection on the administration. This isn't a reflection on the students. This isn't a reflection on anything. It's a reflection on the supply and demand, and that's what we have to do when it comes to the phase that we are in now. Public school used to not have to. Public school was the option, and now it is one of many options. And so we need to find a way that we can give kids the options they're looking for so they choose to stay in the public school system, and the programs that they're looking for so that they have options to move out of our school system and be ready to go into a new career. So thank you to the board. And Ms. Gardner, I'm sorry. I know I think I was asking you for numbers and I forgot about it. So anyway, I apologize for the emotion, but I just really appreciate that everybody's here, and And that I would really appreciate if everybody could come to the table when we do ask to help us figure out what that next phase of Como is going to be. Thank you.
Ms. LeBou, I had those numbers. Do you still need them?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you were asking, you turned to me to ask about available spots. So we had advertised for, we opened in the lottery, which was held on February 15th. We had 285 performing arts spots that were opened up, and we filled 21. And we had 292 visual art spots, and we were able to fill 14. And the lottery has remained open.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask also. The lottery is still open, so will that be closing tonight, or what will we be doing moving forward if this actual vote would go through?
So if the board vote goes through, I'm going to scroll back up. We have 181 children currently at Alamo that we would go back to. So basically, the seats are on hold at this point because we were pending a vote tonight. We would go back to the 8th graders who have rolled to their schools. So currently we have 45 that are going to Acadiana High, 8 going to Campbell High. Ove Como has 23. Some of them are in zone kids. 68 going to Lafayette High, Northside 3, Early College Academy 8, STEM 5, and Southside High School has 14. So at that point, we go to the 8th graders that had declined, continuing we only had 19 kids accept. We go back to the rest, and we would ask them if they would be interested in re-enrolling in the program, because that would be rightfully their pathway, and we would give them 3 or 4 days with their parents, call them, make a choice, and then we would place them. And then we would determine what the enrollment is at Lafayette High, what the projected enrollment is. Currently, right now, we're projected an enrollment of around 1,700 next year. We know we will get some new registrants. And then we will come back and look at that enrollment. At Como, we would ask the current juniors if they choose to stay or go, and I can talk about that later if you choose to. And then we will go from there about opening any available seats.
Thank you. And one more question, and this might be with the superintendent, but I did have a question about whether students that are not zoned for Como, so if this would pass and we do move the academy, can those students that are currently enrolled in Como remain at Como regardless of their zone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other board comment? Mr. Bergeron.
Thank you. Just a few things. So 313, the land development. One of the key things here too is if we allow development on it, 80 to 90% of your property value comes from improvements, right? The buildings you put on it. You put buildings on it, that's more property tax. That building starts selling something, we get more sales tax. The school board has heard loud and clear, even going back to the failed sales tax proposal back in 2016, nobody wants new taxes, but we have to find ways to do school improvements, increase teacher pay, et cetera. It's a fantastic way to do it, right? Attract business here, more jobs, 100% agree with it. Mr. Superintendent, 3.5, the HVAC consulting services, right? Discuss that a little bit, right? What are we doing? What's going on? How is this going to save us money?
Well, first of all, as you know, we're entering into a new contract with Star Services. We needed a third party to come in and first give us an assessment of all of our facilities and somewhat give Mr. Gautreau and his team an idea of what are the immediate needs of what needs to take place as far as planning for years to come. But it's also an opportunity that when we start having conversations with Star, there is an outside group that is coming in and looking at it, and we're not just being one-sided to where, again, Mr. Gautreau doesn't have the manpower nor that expertise. And this is going to be an engineer that's going to somewhat give us information. It's going to be an engineer that's also going to help Mr. Gautreau along with if there is something that needs to be decided with Star to help us in that endeavor. So it is a very cumbersome as far as getting out to all of the 46, but we're going to have this person on retaining so that we can somewhat have them at, if there is something that we need to kind of understand or we need to get with Star, it kind of just, it keeps everybody kind of where they need to be at.
Thank you. 3.2, the removal of SOAR to La Rosen. what's our time frame? Because it's the end of the school year, a lot of work, like, they want to be at the end of the school year, and now they have to start moving to a whole new building. Like, give us a time frame on that, what that's going to look like, and what's going to be left over at the Ambassador Annex when we're done.
Well, the very first thing is, one is when we started talking about this, the team has been working on and making sure that when we do move it back to La Rosen site, there is a complete difference between where kids are, and we're going to make sure that that is two campuses that on that site that, again, will have different type of times coming in, et cetera. To answer your question, is that we are hoping to get the La Rosen kids out and started for the beginning of school year, but we also have a lot of our team that is in those buildings. We are sorting out where all of those different people are. Eventually, what I would like to do, and what I've gotten from the board member, is that we would like to see what we could do with that particular property once it's vacated.
Okay, because I had to address a rumor with one of my constituents that if they weren't out by May 24th, they were going to be trespassed, and I said, I don't think that's true. I was like, that does not sound like something we would do, but again, time frame wise, and you addressed part of the issue too. I had someone say, we originally moved it to SOAR because there was a lot of bullying going on at La Rosa's, way to separate those. So you were going to completely segment those two populations because there were some concerns around bullying and harassment. And
Mr. Gautreau and Dr. Robley and the entire team have gone out there. They have looked at what they need to do as far as keeping those two campuses separate. It is definitely going to be a better situation than it has been.
Fantastic. All right, moving on to some more. Incentive pay, right? And I'm not going to say what everyone else said. Yes, everyone across the board who works in the school system needs more pay, right? Like, I'd love if we could pay everyone more. The plan's, you said it best, the plan's not perfect. But all the time I've worked in government doing turnarounds and other work, the longer we drag this out, the harder it's going to be to put in place, right? New board comes on, new superintendent comes on, staff changes, whatever. Now's the time to do this. It's not perfect. And Britt, I'll let you steal this saying. My dad had a saying, there's never a good time to have a baby, right? There's always going to be something that's going to get in your way that says, now's not a good time. Don't laugh. But like, if we look at all the things that could possibly go wrong, we're going to ignore the positives that are going to come out of this. And I think moving forward, we're going to look at this again. And next year there's going to be changes. And then in 5 years or 4 years, like, it may be a completely different incentive plan that addresses a lot of these issues, but we have to plant that flag and put our first step. And I think it's a good thing. Teacher pay at $50K, fantastic. You told us you were going to do it. Depending on how the vote goes tonight, which I hope it goes well, we're going to check that box off. But let's talk a little bit about Como. Ms. Gardner, we had talked a little bit today about the junior plan where they could still attend Como and still take classes in the Performing Arts Academy. Is that something that we can still do and still work on?
So currently we have 34 rising juniors that'll be seniors, 35 rising juniors that'll be seniors next year. We printed all their transcripts and their current report cards this morning. Ms. Julia Williams, our chief of high schools, went through each transcript and current report card and vetted them. What it does look like currently that we only have 2 rising juniors that will be required to have 7 or more credits to graduate. So the other 33, if we can get in collaboration with Ms. Edelman at Lafayette High and Ms. Cassidy to collaborate their master schedules together with the art electives for those rising juniors. I did speak to transportation to where we could offer a shuttle in between. To be clear, the reason I'm saying those 33, those rising juniors are not in need of 7 credits to graduate. They need less than 7. So it allows time to transfer between Lafayette High and Como to be shuttled. Whereas our current sophomores, they're really needing to be on one campus to collect all the credits they need to graduate. So that's why we assess those transcripts. We did not assess the visual art transcripts because the agenda item was written for performing arts. Does that help?
So long story short,
we will have Ms. Cassidy and we will have Ms. Edelman collaborate on their master schedules so we can accommodate that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'll say the same thing. Yeah, I'll say the same thing, that like, we're going to put all the resources we can into Como, right, to make sure they succeed. The board was clear in November that we wanted to keep Como open. I will abide by the board's vision and the board's vote, and we're going to continue to make sure that Como operates as best it can. And if the principals or the staff there need something, they should come to us and let us know so we can help them out and give them whatever they need to succeed over there. But yeah, I support moving it. As the numbers show, the program has never fully recovered since we moved it. So we were talking earlier, the performing arts is an important part of our community, right? Like we have good relationships with Acadian Center for the Arts and other arts programming. We need to make sure we provide those opportunities to more people, and we can't just say, because it's at Como, we shouldn't move it, because there are 130, 127 kids there that do love the Performing Arts Academy there. But we have to make sure we do good by the whole of the community. And if we're going to continue to promote arts in the community, just outside the school system even, to Acadian Center for the Arts, to all the different organizations out there with performing arts, we have to move it. It's going to have to happen. So.
Mr. Bergeron,
Yes.
I can help clarify. So there were 3 case scenarios that we looked at. I'm a current Como student in the Performing Arts Academy, and I really want to stay at Como, but I don't live in the Como zone. Basically, you would exit the academy, you can stay at Como, finish your high school career. I don't want to be any part of the Arts Academy anymore, correct? That's not a problem. We can work with any student that doesn't live in the Como zone to stay at Como.
But if they want to be in the Performing Arts Academy after we move it, we can still
If you want it, and that's the next scenario. So if you want to be, I'm a Como student in the Performing Arts Academy, but I want to go to Lafayette High and become a Lafayette High student all day and take the Performing Arts class. This allows you to do that. I am a junior that is going to be a senior next year. I want to remain in Como. I have my jacket. I have my ring, those items. Then you can stay on Como. You can be a Como student, and collaboratively, we will work with the electives. I'm also a senior that I'm a junior, rising junior, that I want to go to Lafayette High. I've already bought like a ring from Jostens or Balfour, whatever, through the grad shop. Those rings are exchangeable to get a new ring. If I'm, again, a rising junior to be a senior. So there are multiple options for students.
Okay. And one last thing, this is just hopeful wishing. Until, I would even throw just a blank number out there, until Como's at 60% capacity, I would like to see us say, no zone for Como. Come. If you want to come and you want to be at Como High, come. Until we hit 60 or 70% capacity, whatever number we want to throw out there, we can work it out. This is not part of the vote tonight, but just an idea. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. DeZarmo.
I'm second to last, so there's not much left. So I'm not going to take much of anybody's time. I do understand the hurt that you have. I'm a father and have a family, and being caught in a change would be rough for me. But I can appreciate what the school system is going to do. I was kind of undecided what's going on here until we got to the right here behind next to me. We're going to allow those juniors to follow their dreams. So I'm okay with. I feel better about that whole situation. I'm just going to say one thing that we're working on, the long-range planning committee. We have a lot of property available. We talked about by September, we're going to have meetings with local municipalities on how we're going to start targeting areas for schools and rehabbing schools, I guess you could say. Instead of getting money out that doesn't need to be given out, we're going to start being better as a board at defining areas before we make decisions. And actually, there's a pretty good suggestion about Ms. Amy, who's on our long-range planning committee, so thank you, Ms. Amy. I talked to Lita yesterday, actually. They're very excited about the opportunity. So we are making every opportunity we can to do things better. We're trying to get the whole community involved. We just need you to show up. I understand this was a last-minute thing, so I can't say this about Como, but anything in the future, we're going to be doing some town halls on this long-range planning committee stuff coming up soon. Please go to these town halls. It doesn't do us any good to show up if you don't show up.
Ms. Trahan?
Thank you. I have a few items that I'd like to discuss. The first one is 3.1. So Superintendent Touchette, as we've heard from other board members here, regarding the inclusiveness of other professions within this salary schedule. So paras, custodians, and food service workers. And for me, a lot of my schools have a difficult time with even getting some of those particular employees to come in to maintain them. It's kind of very disheartening to have professions that it's hard to even get them to work for our school system because the pay is so low. And so when we talk about looking at everyone equally, we should be looking at everyone equally, because it is hard to get that area of the job market to come and want to work for Lafayette Parish school system. And so what that does is it puts an undue burden on the ones who are showing up for work and are still getting paid at a lower amount in terms of the pay scale. So if you can please do look at that, you and your cabinet, that would be wonderful. So the next one is 3.2. So the relocation of the students who currently is at SOARS moving to La Rosen. La Rosen is currently in District 4, although all of the students from all of our districts actually, are there at our alternative site. So the one thing I want to say about that is, first, they're moving back. So I want to make certain and receive an assurance that there's adequate accommodations at the school. And I don't just mean physical things, financial resources that's going to flow into La Rosen. You and I have spoken about the alternative school, and is it really working? Okay? So, and it's all students from all of our districts. So I think that is very important that we look at the alternative school in our district. We're putting our younger students back there. Well, let's take a whole look at the alternative, La Rosen, since it's now will be elementary on up to high. So that is very important. That is a priority for me, and it should be a priority for every school board member here, part of LPSS.
Ms. Amy, to address that, part of my plan next year is for our team to look at both of those programs and to see exactly if it's working, what is not working, and to be very transparent with you and the rest of the board, because you did state that it's not just your schools. There are lots of kids that are going from all of our board member schools, and we need to be very transparent whether or not this is working or not. So that is a guarantee that that is going to be part of our plan, to start looking at that and making sure that we're being very transparent about what that looks like as far as moving forward.
And I think there should, thank you for that. I think there also should be an assurance to parents, the parents whose students, young children are going back to La Rosen site. We spoke about separation. Well, maybe we need to have some type of invite to those parents whose students will go there that, hey, look, this is how we're going to separate it, and not just saying we're going to separate it, actually showing them that they're going to be separated. Because I know if I had a student in elementary, I wouldn't want that student to be near a middle schooler or a high schooler, because there's such a big difference in that regard. So I want to definitely make certain to publicly state that. The next item, 3.3, the performing arts at Ove Como moving to Lafayette High. So I just happen to be the parent of a rising senior for 2018, the 2018 school year. So I know how it feels to have a child who has been in the performing arts program not receive that credential because the school board made a change. So hence why I asked a lot of questions to both the superintendent and Ms. Gardner, of which Ms. Gardner has actually spoken to a lot of that. So I want to express that it's not just 1 year the student will lose, or 2 years possibly the students will lose. My children were in arts, performing arts, from elementary on up to high school. So it's a lifelong process, continuation for them. So it's not just that 1 or 2 years or what have you. So I would ask the superintendent to stay committed to offering those options to the students at Como, because quite frankly, they have earned it all of the years they have put into whatever their art is. So I want to make that very clear that I feel like I'd like you to speak on that commitment.
I commit.
All right. All right. The last item that I have on here, 3.9, I would like the superintendent to speak on the Northside High portion of this. I've had a lot of calls from my constituents regarding, is this just an appeasement for Northside High? Are we not getting a new school that has been talked about? Are they trying to just push us, Northside High, off, as well as Paul Bro not getting a school? So I'd like you to speak on that.
So first of all, this item, to get everybody on the page, there were $3 million of one-time money that was allocated to build a new Northside High School by the previous board. We're taking $1 million of that to do some much-needed renovations and some things that need to be addressed at Northside High School. To address what Miss Amy just stated, and I'm working with our team to make sure that we are addressing it. There are facilities on our north side that need to be addressed. And we're doing some things as far as Lafayette High is concerned. We're doing some things on the west end of the parish. But we have to look at what we're doing on the north side. And we're going to really need to make sure, and that is what my focus is going to be when Mr. Anthony Mouton takes over, is that we have to go and find what is it that we need to do to provide us with a better facility on the north side campus, whether it's on that campus or some other properties we have. And I've stated to Miss Amy and I've stated to the community, I am committed. I want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence as far as making sure that we address, because listen, I walk into those schools. My team walks into those schools. Some of those schools are in deplorable conditions, and no kids, and as I stated at the Long Range Planning Committee, we can do better in Lafayette Parish than that. And Miss Amy, that is my commitment to you, that we're gonna look at the budget. Listen, when you start looking and you start looking at different things that we're doing, it's amazing how things just pop up. And we've scrubbed, but I can guarantee you I have my eyes on a few other things that I have not let people know about that we're gonna start scrubbing more. So that to me is what I feel that we need to do as far as moving forward. So that is my thoughts of what we need to do as far as getting something on the north side.
Thank you, and I just want to clarify again that this is not putting in place or replacing a new Northside High build or a new Paul Bro Middle build. I just want to put that on the record. And Mr. Board President, is this the opportunity if we wanted to read a resolution or later on?
No, you can go ahead and read a resolution now.
Okay. So I'd like to read the resolution 05-025-2134, Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas education and knowledge are the foundation of the current and future strength of the United States. Whereas teachers and other education staff have earned and deserve the respect of their students and communities for the selfless dedication of the teachers and staff to community service and the futures of the children of the United States. Whereas teachers personify America's belief that universal public education is a key to meeting the challenges of our changing world, and teachers strive to make every classroom an exciting, productive place to learn and grow. And whereas teachers reach out to foster the well-being of each student, regardless of ability, social or economic background, race, ethnic origin, or religion, and whereas the purposes of National Teacher Appreciation Week, celebrated from May 5th, 2025 through May 9th, 2025, are 1, to raise public awareness of the unquantifiable contributions of teachers, and 2, to promote greater respect and understanding for the teaching profession, and whereas students, schools, communities, and a number of organizations representing educators are recognizing the importance of teachers during National Teacher Appreciation Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lafayette Parish School Board, 1, thanks the teachers of the Lafayette Parish School System, and 2, promotes the profession of teaching and the contribution of educators by encouraging students, parents, school administrators, and public officials to recognize National Teacher Appreciation Week. I just want to say, take a personal note. I wanted to read this especially tonight because I want to recognize some special teachers in my daughter's life. My daughter just graduated from Howard University Law School Mother's Day weekend, top of her class, and she's a product of Lafayette Parish Public Schools. And she asked, "Mom, would you have an opportunity to shout out to some of my teachers throughout elementary and high school?" So I want to give a shout out. So she started at Immaculate Heart Mary School, Catholic school, and then she wound up being a graduate of Lafayette High School. Her first teacher, pre-K, Ms. Taylor. So it's a shout out to Ms. Taylor, who was at Immaculate Heart. Her first grade teacher, Ms. Vining. A big shout out to Ms. Vining. She didn't list all the grades, but there were some key teachers. Mr. Muller, 7th grade history. Mr. Cuvier, 8th grade history. Ms. Arsenault, her piano teacher, I stated she was in the arts. She played the piano. And Mr. Mushmek, 11th grade history. So I want to just say thank you to all of the teachers that I just named, but all of the unnamed teachers that played a part in shaping my daughter's life, because she walked across the stage on Friday having already passed the bar, the only one in her class. And Lafayette Parish Schools set the stage for that. You can do anything when you are a student of Lafayette Parish Schools. And I'll say the same thing for my 2 sons, who are both in college right now, and they're all products of Lafayette Parish Public Schools. So shout out to Lafayette Parish Public Schools, all the teachers I just mentioned, and a big congratulations to my daughter, because we are so very proud of her.
Any other board comment before I go to the vote? Madam Secretary, I call for the vote.
Nine for, none against.
We have 2 items that were pulled. 3.11, discussion on our action concerning the extension of the physical agent contract. That was pulled by Ms. LeBou, conflict of interest. I need a motion a motion and a second. Move to approve. Motion by Mr. Hidalgo. Second by Mr. Edmond. I'm getting there, sir. And I've got to read it. The recommended action that the Lafayette Parish School Board approve the extension of the physical agent contract with First Horizon as attached in the public content section of this agenda. Is there any public comment on this? Any board comment?
I just wanted to let you know I'm recusing myself because my husband is an employee of First Horizon.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
7 for, 1 abstain, and 1 absent.
Motion carries. The final item that was pulled is 3.16. That is the discussion or action to give the superintendent authority to negotiate a contract for all casualty and property lines, including student coverages, insurance broker services with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services. Mr. Hidalgo, you pulled that?
I did. I'd like to move to defer this item to the Board Insurance and Finance Committee.
Second. Yep.
We have a motion by Mr. Hidalgo and a second by Mr. Bergeron. Ms. Guidry, do you have that? Okay, I want to make sure you have it so we can put it up. With that being said, I'll open up public comment. This item is, the motion is to defer and send it to the Insurance Committee. Sir, please state your name and you have 3 minutes.
Should probably be on, shouldn't it? That's thanks. Tyler Smith with Alliant Insurance Services. I'm here today to respectfully request voting no on agenda item 3.16, which proposes the board give the superintendent authority to negotiate a new brokerage services contract with Arthur J. Gallagher effective June 1st, 2025. We strongly believe awarding this authority would violate Louisiana law with respect to the Louisiana Procurement Code and also expose the school system to unnecessary insurance risk based on the following 3 reasons. First, LPSB has an existing broker services agreement executed with Alliant that was procured through the competitive bidding process as part of RFP 27-11 and which was conducted in accordance with the LPC. Since that time, Alliant has dutifully performed and represented LPSB's interest in the insurance marketplace for all your property and casualty lines of coverage and never engaged in any actions that would warrant cancellation of our contract for cause. Louisiana law clearly mandates that consulting agreements such as ours and the one being proposed be negotiated must undergo a transparent and competitive RFP process in accordance with the LPC. As such, we believe abruptly executing a new consulting services agreement outside the legal procurement process would be violative of Louisiana law. In fact, what is suggested be done by consenting to this agenda item is exactly why procurement law exists for governmental entities in the first place, to ensure public funds are spent efficiently and effectively while maintaining transparency, fairness, and accountability. Second, LPSB's property and casualty insurance policies are set to expire at the end of June, so transitioning brokers at this critical time poses unnecessary risks to continuous and seamless insurance protection. Alliant has been working at the direction of LPSB to secure competitive coverage options for all lines of insurance in accordance with our existing contract. Switching brokers at this time would void any and all renewal quotes already secured, and as such, there's no guarantee that options will be secured in time. And any guarantee provided by a broker not under contract with LPSB for these services is nothing more than a sales job. Finally, there is already a planned RFP process to be conducted in the fall of 2005 for any future brokerage services. We at Alliant strongly support open competition because it consistently results in greater value and accountability for governmental entities. Every broker will have an opportunity to present and negotiate their services in a transparent manner to LPSB without causing a potential disruption to your pressing insurance needs. Alliant looks forward to competing against these other brokers to keep your business in a manner consistent with the law, but also to respecting the rules of procurement if we are ultimately not selected through that process. For these reasons, Alliant should be allowed to finish placing the insurance coverages for LPSB effective July 1st, 2025, in accordance with our existing contract before proceeding with the RFP process to procure a new brokerage services agreement in accordance with state procurement law. As such, we respectfully urge the board to vote no on item 316 from today's consent agenda and commence further discussions to ensure legal compliance, continuity of coverage, and the best interests of the Lafayette Parish school system.
Sir,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your comments, but the motion on the floor is to defer, to not vote on the actual item that's on the agenda. So your comment should have been for or against deferring. So, but I appreciate your comments. Thank you. If there's any other public comment.
You're our current broker. Could I just ask him just to stay right there?
You sure can.
Okay. Can you stay right there?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask if there's any more public comment before we get to board comment? Any other public comment? Okay, hearing, okay, come on up.
I'll sit over here.
And remember, the item is to defer and send it to our committee. It's not to approve Gallagher or not, or Alliant or whatever. It's, are you for or against deferring?
My name is Brent Romero with Arthur Gallagher, and our comment tonight is not to defer, to continue on with the process, as we did some research, and what we came to a conclusion was there was going to be considerable savings amount of money with this whole process. And as you speak the board here this evening about teacher pay and fiduciary responsibility, there are several things that would be in your interest to move forward with this process. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, any other public comment?
Hi, my name is Marion Laughlin. I'm with Gallagher. Thank you for allowing us to come in tonight. I vote not to defer. I would like us to be able to vote on this tonight. Gallagher uses, and I would like to explain why. Gallagher uses a core 360 approach to evaluate and minimize our clients' risk. The key factors that we use are program structures, coverage gaps, uninsured and uninsurable losses, loss prevention and claims, contractual liability cost resulting from unsuccessful transfer of risk, and insurance premiums. Those are all important, right? The tools used in this evaluation is information that we received from LPSS. Those tools were policy information, loss data information, and statement of values. After reviewing this, we know that we can make a positive impact on your program. And we would be changing the market structure. We would be adding updated data to the statement of values. And Desiree has done a wonderful job on that. But there's a few things that Gallagher would add to that would benefit the school board. We would improve some terms of coverage that we found, contractual liability. We would offer training, free training, based on the losses that we found. We would engage our claims advocacy team to work with you on any claims that are still open that need to be closed, find out why there's high retentions on them. We want to get those claims closed right. An underwriter is looking at marketable account. And that's a big deal. Losses are a big deal. So we want to get them closed. We've even found that the majority of the losses that we're seeing on the claims data that we received, we haven't received all of it, is in transportation, slips, trip and fall, sprains. Those are a big deal. Those are things that we can work with you all to improve that marketability. We would utilize Gallagher's market relationships to include insights of weather and coastal regional risk that we face here. We're a local presence. We're here in Lafayette. We understand what we face. And tonight, like Brent said, we talked about the importance of the budget. We want to keep those dollars in LPSS's account. So we would be and feel that we can deliver LPSS a more cost-effective program with cost savings, and we're ready to partner with you. So I ask you, we're coming here tonight prepared. We've been out to our markets. Whoops. We can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Latchley passed the gavel to me. Do we have any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, do we have any board comment? Mr. Hidalgo.
Yeah, so we've been in the news lately for what I believe is crap, but you know, we've been in the news for trying to save money the right way. We've done things the right way, yet we've been attacked for it, and I commend the superintendent for what he's doing to save money and do the right thing for our students and for our taxpayers. And we should do that across the board. We should do it too with insurance. I have no doubt, I'm not doubting, I'm not questioning whether Gallagher or any other organization can save us money. That's the goal. We need to be saving money. And I'm probably going to ask a couple of questions of our current broker in a minute, hard-hitting questions, because that's what we need to be doing, is saving money. But I'm telling you, I got concerns, ladies and gentlemen, and I spoke to the superintendent about this. But I want to be transparent with you about it. I'm sorry to have to do it on the board floor, but I want to be very clear. This is a $5 million account premium. This never came before the insurance committee. I understand it was thrown at the superintendent's lap at the last minute. He has indicated that to me. It's problematic. But we cannot circumvent the process. You know, when we did the health insurance RFP process, and Gallagher, the other side of their house, is our broker, they had to go through a crazy extensive process. This is not an RFQ. This is not who has a better qualification to put up a building or who has a better qualification to give us a set of plans. This is a $5 million decision. And so this needs to go before the insurance committee and be vetted. I know we're up against a tight timeline. We cannot, as I mentioned earlier on Como, take our fiscal responsibility, throw it in the drawer right here for maybe an opportunity to save money. I'm asking you guys to support deferring this, and because we have time. We can enter into certain agreements now, and we can change them. We're not stuck in an agreement, and we're not going to let a broker, whoever they are, put us in an agreement that we're stuck in. And Mr. President, I know you're probably not going to like this, but I'm going to ask you to give me just a tiny bit of leeway. I know the motion, I made the motion, is to defer the item, but I want some clarity on where we are. I mean, we're being told we're going to save a bunch of money, and I want the current broker to tell us what's going on. Why do we have first of all, this process is not the right process. I think I've already stated it, I'm going to state it again. We need to go through the proper process. We have a responsibility to do that. We have people that come to us all the time that can save us money on all kinds of stuff. This one right here, if this one gets in the news, this one's going to be legit. The rest of them might be crap. This one's going to be legit. So, but I need you, sir, appreciate you for being here, to explain to us, why do we have companies coming to us? Let's make a statement, kind of a broad statement, not just insurance, on anything. It's a new day in Lafayette Parish. The day of, well, that's tax money, so we're going to get as much of it as we can. Those days are gone as long as this superintendent's here. So I need an explanation from you. Why are we in this position? Maybe the superintendent can shed some light. I certainly want the superintendent, with the president's permission, to be able to ask questions. And then I might, if the president allows, have questions for the representatives from Gallagher as well.
Mr. Hidalgo, you have the floor.
So board member, let me kind of just set the stage for all of us on how all of this came about. I want you to imagine yourself, you're shopping for a particular item for your wife, and something pops up on your phone, and there is a huge discount or a coupon that you have that just comes out and at the whatever that's going on. This is exactly as what has happened, why I put this in front of you, and I'm going to paint a picture for you. It is very well noted that in this district, we are doing cost-saving measures, and we're making sure that we're taking care of the taxpayer's dollar. It is in the news. It is in the news. It's not a secret. We had a local company who was already our health insurance. And let me address Mr. Hidalgo's concern about not going. Historically, the only thing that the insurance committee has taken care of was health. Most of the liability was probably not going there, but I agree with him. It needs to go there. But I'm going to tell you where my biggest concern is, that there was someone from the community that came and says, I can save you money. And any one of you at this table would have said, you better listen. And I listened. And they said, I need information. I need as much information you give. Well, I gave them that information. It's been 8 weeks, 10 weeks of information that we have fed Gallagher. They came back, and I'm going to throw 3 things at you right now. Right now, total assets in this district is over $900 million. Probably close to $1 billion. For every occurrence that we have, the fire at Karen Crowe High School, We have $1 million deductible with this company, $1 million deductible. So we only have $100 million as far as the most that they will pay. For any one occurrence, we have $1 million deductible. And as Mr. Hidalgo stated, we're spending $5 million a year. And listen to this. They just came to us and they're going to raise us 1.12% more on that premium. Gallagher comes in, listen to this. Gallagher says, instead of $100 million, we're going to give you $200 million. We're going to also lower your deductibles to $500,000, $250,000. And then they said for premiums, we're going to save you $450,000 to $750,000 on premium. So I met with our team and I said to myself, these people are telling me this. What the heck's going on with this broker that we have? I give it to Desiree. Desiree gets on your phone, and you said to her, listen to this, we will match it. So tonight, I want to know whether or not you will match that, because we are going, my motion, my agenda item was to go RFP. It's going to take 6 months to RFP. But listen, there is $500,000 on the table that somebody is saying, we guarantee $500,000, that you're telling me that you're going to charge us $775,000 more than what you're giving us. You told my employee, I'm going to get her over here to say it, you told her that you would match it. My thing is, are you going to match that price? Because I'm going to tell you, you're taking away from kids if you don't. That is kids. That is $500,000 that we could be giving to our kids. That is a price tag that I just can't believe that, look, I didn't go ask for Gallagher to come to me. Gallagher came to me, and they looked at what we were doing. What were we doing the last 3 years?
Mr. Hidalgo, you have the floor.
Well, I'd like that answer, but after he answers, don't give the floor up. I still want the floor.
So
I'm letting you direct the direction.
Can you give us some feedback based on the superintendent's concerns? Be as specific as you can, but please be respectful of time.
Of course. So, as many of us know, you've probably seen it in your homeowners policies. Ever since COVID, the property market in the state of Louisiana has gone through the roof. That's been the last 5 years, okay? This year, the market is softening. I can promise you savings. Gallagher can promise you savings. Any broker can promise you savings. That's why they're at your door, is because the market has shifted. You are going to get savings from us. I am not the carrier. I am the broker. My job is to go negotiate and force carriers down on price and leverage their capacity into a position that makes sense for y'all at the direction of Desiree and her team. That's what we've done. We can get you lower deductibles. We can get you higher limits. We can get you savings. We have to be directed to do that, and we give you those options. Now, I was approached 1 week before I was supposed to give you numbers for this renewal with 4 times the limit, half the deductible, and $500,000 off the price. At that moment, I could not give you that number, and I'm not going to put something in front of this board that I can't stand behind in that moment. Since that time, it has come down, and we will continue to negotiate down. This is a process. We're 45 days out from your renewal. Now, in Louisiana, especially in the coast, your costs come from hurricane exposure. That is 60% of your price. That $5 million number that you mentioned, that's the cost of insurance. That's not what we make. We're on a fee. We don't take a percentage of that. We don't make any more money if your premium goes higher. So I have a fiduciary responsibility to get you as low of a cost as we can possibly get, and that is in our contract. Gallagher does not have a contract with you. They can tell you what they want today and then not deliver tomorrow. I have to deliver. So ethically, I'm not going to put something in front of you, sir, that I cannot say that day, this is what I have. But we are working on it and we will get there. I am not a salesperson. I'm a tactician. I have an aerospace engineering degree. All I do is work through modeling, pricing, CAD exposure, all the things that this lady mentioned earlier. All the things that Gallagher says they do, we do too, and more. We're the #1 public entity broker in the United States. That's all we do. I would be remiss. I have 4 children in public school. I would never take money from children.
I had no idea it was going to go exactly this way, but I had an idea it was going to kind of go this way, and I'm glad it did, and here's why. I rest my case. This did not go through the proper process. No disrespect to the superintendent or his team. This needs to go through the proper process. I don't want anyone to tell me about timelines, okay? Because every time we turn around, that's our excuse. We got this tight timeline. Remember, we had a meeting not too long ago, our insurance meeting. It's all about our health insurance. It's all about timelines. I'm asking you guys to vote yes, defer this to the insurance committee. Let this go through the right process, because I don't want Bob getting a letter with a lawsuit, because the original process was a traditional RFP process. And now we're just trying to make a change at the last minute because of a promised premium that we don't know. We have no idea. Where's the documents of both of these companies' coverage that they price their coverage on to say it's apples to apples, oranges to oranges? We don't know anything right now. All we know is, we do know something. We're going to have a less insurance premium renewal coming up before too long. We know that. So, Mr. President, I appreciate the time. I don't like this kind of controversial stuff on the floor, but this is not a canopy. This is not a $50,000 project. This is a $5 million premium, much like our $80 million health insurance plan, that we got to be way more serious about moving forward.
Ms. Mason.
I'm going to support the motion to defer because I spent 5 years on the insurance committee, and I don't think I've ever spent so much time on anything in my entire life on one project, and to not be supported on the board by the rest of the board after you spent 20 hours a week on insurance, I think is disrespectful to the committee. So I'm going to support Mr. Hidalgo's motion, and I also I'm looking forward to the proper process to find the best price, because I found out the hard way that when I saw Woodvale's cafeteria on fire, I should have just let it burn to the ground, because we could have gotten that $1 million deductible hit. Instead, we called the fire department and saved it.
Go ahead, Ms. LeBeau.
I just want a clarification. So in 45 days, is this contract auto-renew, or what happens in 45 days?
In 45 days, your policies with your carriers expire.
Okay.
For the current term, and would have to be either renewed or created new for July 1, 2025 through July 1, 2026.
So as we sit today, we don't already have negotiated next policies in place?
Not completely, no.
But based on what I'm assuming that we're looking at 45 days out, we have at least a portion of that already negotiated. So do we know how much of a savings that has already been negotiated on the portion that has been negotiated?
Yes.
And what is that number?
It's.
I know we were provided numbers, but is that's not on the full?
I mean, I don't have the number right in front of me, like as of tonight, but.
I appreciate your question, but I think that even if he gave us a number, or even if Gallagher gave us a number, we still don't have.
No, I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying in the 45 days out, I'm sure we already have a good idea of what we're looking at. moving forward. So I was just trying to get an idea of how far off we are on some of these numbers. But I agree with I agree with everything that Ms. Mason said. You know, y'all put a lot of work and effort into this, so I appreciate that the insurance committee is so cognizant and intentional, and thank you for all the work y'all do, and I will support the motion.
Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
May I go? Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, yeah, it is. Look at the bottom. Yeah.
Guess I should have said that on the mic.
9 for, none against.
Motion carries to defer. That is our board meeting for this evening. Nothing left on the agenda.
Point of order, we haven't discussed the Visual Arts Academy.
Oh,
item
yes,
at the beginning.
yes, I'm sorry. We didn't pull it.
Consent?
Yes. Yeah, no, we didn't pull it. Thank you. Okay. This meeting is adjourned.